All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you all for joining us during the Lytham Partners Investor Select Conference. My name is Robert Blum, Managing Partner of Lytham Partners, and during this webcast, we welcome SenesTech, ticker symbol of SNES on the NASDAQ, and their CEO, Joel Fruent, and their Chief Financial Officer, Tom Chesterman. Before I turn it over to management, I want to remind everyone that if you've not already signed up for a one-on-one meeting today, would like to do so, you can send me an email. That's Blum, B-L-U-M, at lythampartners.com, or you can visit our website, lythampartners.com/virtual. Click on the one-on-one meeting request button, and we will look to get you taken care of. So, Joel, Tom, with that, the floor is yours.
Hello, this is Joel Fruent, CEO of SenesTech. I wanted to talk to you about controlling animal pest populations, particularly rats, through fertility control using ContraPest, our EPA-registered control product. But before I do so, a little about me, the new CEO. One of our investors invited me to comment on the change in leadership here at SenesTech and my vision and plans as the new CEO. While I'm happy to talk with shareholders, this seemed an important enough topic to address to all of our shareholders and prospective investors. First, a little about me. There are some things about my past that are immediately relevant. I have over 15 years experience in the regulated vector and pest control industry. I know the challenges controlling pests to protect public health and to maintain a high standard of living. I know the players within this industry and the vital role they play in preventing disease outbreaks. I also have extensive experience as a leader of large organizations and know how to grow companies profitably. I have done it and will do it again. I believe in the mission and the people in SenesTech. This is what I bring to the table. So the same investors suggested that they would like to hear from the new CEO clear goals, clear thinking, and a clear and consistent strategy. Fair enough. I do believe in keeping it simple. We will boil it down and focus on three key initiatives here at SenesTech. We will deliver to our new and existing customer flawless products that work every time, while providing more product options that fit their needs. Our new product development team is already at work with over 25 development projects in progress. We will penetrate and grow in our targeted markets with a new structured sales force. We have increased the sales team from 3 to 7 people, focused on our customers and providing value by integrating ContraPest as part of their effective integrated pest management programs. And finally, we will effectively lower our product manufacturing costs through efficient supply chain management and partnering, while at the same time reduce our operating expenses to cost effectively use the resources our shareholders have entrusted with us to accelerate growth. As we further develop these three initiatives within the company and we execute on them with our customers, we will also continue to communicate with the investment community through our quarterly calls and investor conferences. As you have probably seen, since the beginning of the pandemic, reports of rat infestations have been exploding, both in the US and around the world. The trend is not new and has been going on, in fact, for decades, if not centuries. However, the changes in social behavior since the pandemic have made this problem far more obvious. Having too many rats is a huge problem for society, one we're spending millions on because they cost billions. From a public health standpoint, these animals are a vector for disease, and lethal options using poisons may pose a very real danger to people, pets, and wildlife. From a food supply standpoint, rats destroy 20% of the world's stored food supply through consumption or contamination. And of course, they are very destructive. Rats cause over $27 billion of infrastructure damage per year in the US alone. And yet, this problem is not a new one. It has been an age-old problem, usually addressed with lethal options using poisons or less than humane traps. But these options are not keeping up. On the contrary, it appears that post-COVID rat infestations are getting worse. Further, sometimes the wrong things get poisoned, but we keep trying the lethal options. In fact, the global rodenticide market is projected to be $1.7 billion by 2026. The key question is, what do we do about it? We at SenesTech have a product, ContraPest, which is bringing a high-tech solution to this low-tech problem of too many rats. Simply put, ContraPest is an effective and humane way of controlling this animal pest population through fertility control. Think of it as rodent birth control. Our product, ContraPest, is unique patented contraceptive technology that reduces or eliminates fertility in both male and female rats. This fertility control is currently delivered in a liquid form, as rats need to consume about 10% of their body weight in water every day. It is palatable to the rats, a birth control milkshake that is sweet and fatty and keeps the rats coming back for more. Further, ContraPest contains active ingredients that target both males and females, enhancing its effectiveness. And ContraPest has been proven in the field to dramatically improve the efficacy of integrated pest management programs with or without the use of traditional poisons. Let me be very clear. Whatever integrated pest management strategy is being employed to control infestations, it works better with ContraPest. Furthermore, ContraPest has been designed and is deployed in a manner to present fewer risks to non-target species, like kids and dogs and other animals. It is metabolized inside the rat quickly, so there's little risk of secondary exposure. ContraPest is an effective efficacy, cost, and sustainable solution, allowing end users to reduce lethal poisons and posing far fewer environmental and public health risks. One important point driving baiting success is making the bait more palatable and more accessible to the target. We just talked about how we made ContraPest more palatable, certainly more palatable than wax blocks of poison, but we've also given thought to how we make it more accessible. Traditional baiting for rats is done with bait stations that are placed on ground level near structures. These boxes, which you can see in most urban settings, are placed so as to be accessible to the most common of urban rat pests, the Norway or brown rat. We decided to add the deployment arsenal, a delivery mechanism that targets the other common rat pest species, the roof or black rat. These rats spend much of their life off the ground, so we developed a way to make ContraPest more accessible to them, the Elevate bait station with ContraPest. The new Elevate system is potentially a game changer for the pest control industry by being the first delivery system that can be effectively deployed above ground. This gives the industry its first real tool to directly control roof rats, one of the most prevalent rodent pests in the United States and around the world. Roof rats may spend their entire lives without ever touching the ground, making traditional ground-based bait stations much less effective in dealing with them. The size and weight of the ground station makes it difficult to deploy them where the rats are. Elevate is designed to be deployed above ground, in rafters, above ceilings, in attics, those places where the roof rats live, eat, and sleep. It is lightweight, it's easy to deploy, and it's easy to resupply with ContraPest's new 8-ounce drop-in bottles. This potentially makes ContraPest the go-to product for roof rat populations, an essential tool for any facilities looking for solutions to an historically intractable problem. Let me get back to why fertility control is so important to overall pest control. Traditional pest control tools like lethal poisons seek to control the death rate and are reactive. The challenge is the incredible rate of reproduction of the rat. Given sufficient food, water, and harborage, 2 breeding rats can result in 15,000 offspring after a single year. In fact, the largest pest company in the world, Rent-A-Kill, commissioned an interactive study, The Rise of Rats, that revealed how a pair of rats could produce nearly 500 million descendants in just 3 years. 500 million. You cannot poison them or trap them or gas them fast enough to overcome their fertility. You need to control the population by reducing the birth rate. Furthermore, there's a phenomenon called rebound. When you knock the population down via lethal means, you never get them all. The survivors have an increased food supply and may have been selected for resistance or avoidance. Their reproductive rate makes the population rebound to the original level quickly. For decades, industry has accepted this and built their IPM programs around this poison and rebound model. Pest management professionals have been limited in their toolbox tools. To some extent, the business model is, how do I get the customer to keep coming back, rather than how do I solve the customer's problem? In effect, the industry relies on failure to drive its business model, which means that we need to educate not only the P&P market, but to the end user in an effort to demand ContraPest be included in their integrated pest management program. We have likened this to the pharmaceutical industry in that the prescription drugs need to be prescribed by a doctor, even though they are ultimately consumed by a patient and paid for by insurance. In our case, the P&P, or doctor equivalent, not only needs to be convinced that the customer wants ContraPest, but also that they can make money from the sale and that the customer will be willing to pay for it. In commercializing any disruptive or innovative technology, it is imperative to identify a limited number of high potential market segments on which to focus. These high potential segments are chosen based on economic potential, access, and or the ability to use them as reference points. Our strategy has defined 5 key target market segments as follows: agribusiness, municipal and government contracts, e-commerce, zoos and sanctuaries, and commercial applications. And fitting all in with all of them are the P&Ps themselves. The commercial market includes the broader list of customers serviced by P&Ps that would include food processing facilities, corporate campuses, and housing projects. We are targeting it directly with a pull-through strategy and also in conjunction with the P&Ps as a push-through strategy. We will have increased focus by devoting significant field selling efforts directly to the commercial market and expect significant sales increases in this line. Now let's address customer satisfaction. Different customers have different reasons to be satisfied. In the poultry industry, rat infestations cost money as the rats consume or contaminate feed, as they feed on chicks, as they damage equipment, and as the labor required to control the infestation increases. Last year, we completed 2 deployments in the poultry industry. In the first, a West Coast egg farm, ContraPest was added to the existing integrated pest management program. The rat populations were surveyed monthly for over a year to measure the reduction in rat activity through ContraPest treatment. The final results confirmed that the ContraPest cut the rat population in half in 3 months and produced a sustained 90% reduction over the 12-month study. In the second deployment, an East Coast pullet farm, again, ContraPest was added to the existing integrated pest management program. The staff reported an 88% improvement in pullet survival after reducing the rat population with ContraPest. The annual benefit projected by the customer of adding ContraPest to their pest management program was over $600,000 in increased revenue and decreased costs. The overall investment in ContraPest over the same period was less than $30,000, a fantastic return on investment. While these deployments were at poultry facilities, the results are immediately applicable to many other agricultural situations. Anywhere there is grain or feed, there is the potential for rat infestations, and ContraPest is now proven in the field to dramatically reduce those infestations, reduce their negative economic impact, and improve overall food security. We will be highly focused on penetrating the massive municipal and government sector. In this urban setting, customer satisfaction is in fewer rat sightings. It is more political, social, and public health driven. A report by Orkin is entitled "The 25 Rattiest Cities in the U.S." We are developing a detailed sales and marketing program to target the leaders in these cities and make them aware of ContraPest and how it can reduce rat populations. What city wants to be known as a ratty city? Here's proof the product works. In a long-term study in Washington, D.C., working with the local authorities, we were able to prove decreased activity by 94 to 99% with no rebound. In addition, the proportion of juveniles to adults increased by 98 to 99%. That is, in the world of population ecologists, a crash. Over the 12 months of deployment, rat populations crashed and stayed low. There was no rebound effect. The city has elected to expand the use of ContraPest beyond the study area in their next funding cycle, assuming budgets recover after COVID. Similarly, in San Francisco, ContraPest is expanding on city properties, and ContraPest was recently added to the San Francisco Reduced Risk Pesticide List, further increasing sales opportunities. Our success in DC and San Francisco is starting to drive increased adoption in cities around the country, as Hartford, Connecticut, Columbus, Ohio, and suburban Boston are now actively using ContraPest. Most recently, Santa Clara County, aka the Silicon Valley in California, has adopted ContraPest, as has major Silicon Valley tech companies. Santa Clara has recently completed its own independent study of ContraPest. This has led to expanded deployments in San Jose and ultimately the whole county. How humanity is currently responding to too many rodent pests is not working. With many decades of effort and traditional responses, the public health concerns and risks keep rising. There is also a growing realization that there is too much collateral damage in this war on rodents, as evidenced by California's adoption of the Ecosystems Protection Act, effective January 1st, 2021, banning, under many circumstances, the 4 major second-generation anticoagulant rodenticides commonly used in rodent control. But there are some encouraging signs. Cities are beginning to recognize the potential of fertility control being added to their integrated pest management. City leaders are now asked why they don't do things differently and control the populations, and we are being contacted daily looking for other options. Municipalities are looking for new options. And in addition, the agricultural community is beginning to recognize the clear economic benefit of ContraPest. We are rapidly accelerating our commercialization of ContraPest in the commercial and professional segments. We have not yet released our fourth quarter results, but I will steal a bit of Tom's commentary on the numbers to let you know that the fourth quarter will be reported as our best quarter ever. With that, let me turn it over to Tom.
Thank you, Joel. As we've not yet released the fourth quarter numbers, I won't spend much time on them. Revenue for the third quarter was approximately $249,000 compared to approximately $159,000 in the third quarter of 2021. This continues our accelerated growth trend of the past 2 years. We believe that this trend will continue and even potentially accelerate in the new year. And adding the Elevate bait system as an alternative is certainly beginning to do that. As I've said, we've not released the fourth quarter numbers, but I can provide a comment. We've been growing in recent quarters at a 2x growth rate. If that continues, this would be the year we break $1 million, just as in 2023 would be the year we exceed $2 million. Everyone on the management team knows that ContraPest offers customers and the PMPs that service them a powerful, effective, and sustainable tool to control rat infestations. I personally believe that ContraPest will be a game changer in the industry, and we are highly focused on making it the success we know it can be. We've seen a gradual expansion of share from the e-commerce channel, but it should be noted that much of that expansion is actually stemming from our sales team channeling smaller opportunities to the website and focusing their own attentions on larger opportunities. Consequently, the average order size via the website is about $100, while the average order size for direct sales is about 5 times that. In the fourth quarter, we usually see a shift to direct sales as larger orders close, and that's what we expect to report. Looking at the rest of the income statement, this is a good place to comment on some cost structure items. When we were a research company, we burned about $9 million of cash per year. As we transitioned to a commercial company in 2020, we committed to a reduction of $1 million of operating expense, which we did. In 2021 and 2022, we increased our customer acquisition investments and some of our short-term development expenditures for Elevate, for example. We now believe that we can throttle back some of that investment and bring operating expenses down while still supporting our growth initiatives. We're just finalizing our budget now, but I expect we can provide more detail in our fourth quarter earnings conference call. The big news on the balance sheet is that we closed the financing in November to substantially bolster the balance sheet. Adding the net from this financing to the Q3 numbers on a pro forma basis would have taken our cash balance to $7 million at the end of the quarter. We also, in this financing, offered $5 million of short-term warrants, which must be exercised within the year or expire. And finally, we have a shelf on file with $3 to $5 million of capacity. With this and the reduced operating expenses I mentioned, this gives us the resources to execute our plans through 2023 and beyond. We firmly believe that we have the right product, the right opportunity, and we are bringing it to the market in the right environment. ContraPest is the right product for the moment. It is a better answer than sticking with the failing status quo. Our commercialization approach is focused, our revenue is growing in a sustainable fashion, and we are continuing to improve our fiscal discipline. Thank you for your attention, and good day.
All right, perfect. Well, Joel, Tom, thank you very much for your time today. We greatly appreciate it. Again, just want to remind everyone that if you've not already signed up for a one-on-one meeting and you would like to do so, send me an email. That's Blum, B-L-U-M, at lythampartners.com. Or again, visit our website, lythampartners.com/virtual. Click on the one-on-one meeting request button there. We'll look to get you taken care of. So we hope you all enjoy the conference. Joel, Tom, thank you very much.